Have you ever been called crazy in your life? Well, I'm that guy that have been called crazy all my life. I've been called crazy, right? But this time I've been called crazy and it sounds different. Like my family and friends are going nuts because I said I want to leave Great Britain. Well, Britain. I want to leave Britain because it's not that great nowadays, to be honest. I want to leave Britain and go back to Africa, and they think I have been insane. And even some family members think that they did some juju on me, or maybe I lost my mind, or maybe I'm running away from something. Hello, my name is Mamadou, and welcome to this channel. This is the very first video, so make sure that you pay attention. You like the video, you share, and you subscribe to this channel, so then maybe we can share this journey with a lot of people. And in today's video, I'll be sharing with you the reasons why my family and friends think that I have lost my mind. Now, just for a bit of context, I've been living in the UK since I was 18, and now I'm 24, and I have been living in Europe since I was 6 or 7 years old. I came first to Portugal where my parents were living, and then we were there like all the way when I was 17, and then when I was 18, I moved to the UK. I lived in Brighton for about a year, and then I moved to Wales. I lived there for about a year and a half, and then I moved to London where I lived for about 18 months. I moved to Leeds, I lived there for about a year, and then I moved to where I currently live in the Northeast. So you can see I've been moving around within the UK all of these years, and all of a sudden I tell my family and friend that I want to go back to Africa, and they think I have lost my mind. They're like, what? You are 24, 25 years old and you want to go back to Africa? Why? What you want to go there? What you want to go there for? Everybody's trying to get here. What? Are you in trouble? Is anyone trying to kill you? You must be thinking that, oh, maybe this guy has a really terrible job, or maybe he's running away from gangs. Perhaps, his life is miserable. And I promise you, that's not the case. I have a really comfortable job. And as I mentioned, I've been promoted multiple times. Despite being like 24, I lead people in a really large corporation on a daily basis. To give you an idea, I manage hundreds of people just to ensure that the operations of this company that I work for are successful and that we deliver the actual goals that we have to deliver on a daily basis. So, it's a really comfortable job. I live in a really comfortable area. However, I feel like that something is missing. And, despite being 24, I'm a father, I'm a father of two human beings, this is a big responsibility. And I'm also married. I'm married for about 6 years. And as a father and husband and the man of the house, I have to ensure that I take decisions that will actually, put my family, in success. So if you look at it currently, in the West, it's really difficult to actually be the provider and the actual protector and set up your family for success. Because first, I don't feel like you control the fate of your family. For instance, I started having these thoughts around COVID. So when COVID hit, actually at the time I was making a lot of money, and at that time it was just myself and my wife when COVID started, and she was pregnant. And I remember going to the shop, couldn't find food. There's no food on the shelves, couldn't buy anything. I'm like, wow, I have all this money, but I can't buy food for my family. So how does that work? Well, I started thinking, well, maybe I'm not living in the right environment because I remember back in the days, everybody used to have a garden, you grow food and stuff like that. So I was really discomfortable with that. I was like, well, I'm not really free. I cannot leave my house. I cannot go, I cannot have food because I have to go to the actual shop to buy it. And, the shop didn't have it. So how am I supposed to provide to my family? So this is where I actually started, thinking about stuff. And, I'm now, like, as I mentioned, I'm father of two, and I do homeschooling, right? For a lot of people, this is a surprise. So yeah, I do homeschooling, and, I have to ensure that, what my children are learning and the actual education is actually, actual proper education. That's why I chose homeschooling, so that we can spend time with our children, etc. So altogether, for all these reasons, like, the West becomes really difficult location to actually do all these things, because there's so many things to worry about and so little control you have over your own life. And the other reason why is that at the moment I'm just a piece of puzzle in I'm just a piece in someone's puzzle. Let's put it that way. So I'm just actually working to ensure that someone else's dream goes right. But I want to ensure that I go in a place where I can actually create the puzzle, where I can make a lot of my dream come true, and also inspire other people to do the same thing. So yeah, the West is not looking good, in my opinion. And this is nothing against the people. It's just about the policies that we have. And in Britain, where I live at the moment, there's a lot of nonsense going around, and I don't know if you noticed recently there were some riots, anti-immigration riot. This is what they called it, and it was really discomfortable. I remember I had to tell my wife, don't leave the house, because they were actually like beating up people, and some people ended up in hospital, not because they did anything wrong. So you just walk in the street, you happen to be black, or you're not looking white, and you could be attacked. And that was really terrible experience, having to message my wife and call her while I was at work. Hey, if you need anything, just don't leave the house, because there is a risk that someone actually can beat you up. That was really something that put me in a really discomfortable position, and I would never want to experience that again. And just tell you something, I'm black and I'm Muslim, and my wife, she's not black. She's like she could be anything really. She's not black, she's not white, she looks Asian, she looks East African. Like she could just be any nationality, and she's Muslim, and she dresses like Muslim. So it was really not looking good. Like her chances of getting beat up was really high. So yeah, this is something that actually put me on a spot. So yeah, because of these reasons, I want to leave the West altogether. Because of religious reasons. You cannot be really religious in the West. It's really difficult to educate your children. There's a lot of stuff, and you have the greed. Like it's almost impossible to live off grid, and I'm someone who's really onto being, sustainable, etc. So yeah, this is one of the reasons I want to leave. And I want to live in a place where I can know my neighbors. I can know who my neighbor is. I remember when I was a child, when I used to go to my grandma, when she needed to do some work, the neighbor would come help her with her work, and then when the neighbor needed some work, we would go and help the neighbor. So basically, everybody helps with each other, right? And people knew each other, people interacted, and this is something that I actually feel like is missing in my life, and I would like my children and my family to experience this. And this is why I want to leave the West altogether. It doesn't mean that in the West there are no nice people. Obviously there are really nice people, but the settings don't allow you to have this kind of environment. It's really difficult. And now you must be thinking, well, why Africa then? You could just go to Asia, or maybe you could go to East Europe, or other places in the world. But I'm choosing Africa because first, I'm African, yeah? As you can see, I'm black African. I was born in Africa. My parents are African, so I'm African, and I was raised there for the first 6-7 years of my life, and I really loved it. I still have great memories, and I would like my children to experience that. And then, man, I like the heat. I like, anything below 25 for me is cold, and that's why I'm struggling in the UK, man. This place is cold. But yeah, I want to go there. It's warm weather, and it's an environment where I would feel more comfortable. First, things are still more accessible. Like I have more access to land, because if you want to live off grid, obviously you need to have land. And in these places I can still afford land in a really cheap price, because majority of the people are leaving those places to come to Europe, so there's not that much interest, right? And then I would feel comfortable there because nobody would be beating me up just because I'm black. No, COVID was a really interesting time, and that was probably one of the worst thing that happened to mankind. I'm talking since Adam and Eve, like one of the worst thing that happened, not because of the illness itself, but because of the measures and the propaganda and all of those policies that were applied, and this actually led a lot of people to actually open their eyes and open their mind and start reflecting. Wait a minute. I thought I was free, but actually I'm not. And I have no control over myself. I have no control over my children. I cannot, I'm not, autosufficient. So they started reflecting. And since then, a lot of people are more into homeschooling. A lot of people actually went on and bought some farms. A lot of people started forming communities, and a lot of people started actually looking at the West differently. Perhaps this is not the dream life. Perhaps, we have been deceived, and perhaps there's an alternative way of living rather than actually being compliant to the matrix. And I have been following a lot of families and a lot of people who actually have decided since COVID to actually leave the grid and actually live off grid. So if you don't know about what I mean, living off grid is actually living in a place where you're not depending on all these things, where you can live independently and free, where you have control over what you can teach your children, where you can have control over what you eat because you are growing your own food, where you can form communities, where you can actually bond with people as you should, where you can live with sustainability, where you don't just waste stuff for the sake of it, and also where you don't have to work like 60 hours a week to be able to actually pay your bills, council tax and all of that stuff. This is robbery. We actually have been enslaved as a humankind. So I've been following a lot of people who actually have been more engaged toward this kind of lifestyle. I would say the freedom lifestyle, yeah. However, most of them actually share their journey where they are already on their homestead or when they are already living off grid. So it gives you a little chance to actually, you can't see really how they got there. Does that make sense, right? You can see I'm in a hotel room. I'm currently in Exeter, and I just made the decision recently that actually, well, I'm committed and I'm going to actually leave Offgrid. So in this channel, I'll be sharing with you every single step I take. So perhaps you can learn with my mistakes, and you can learn with the successes that I achieved on actually leaving Offgrid and going back to Africa and be successful there. Now, within this channel, you should be able to go anywhere you want to by applying the actual steps that I will be taking. So please, this is the first time they are in this YouTube channel, so please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the videos with other people. And let me know in the comments, do you think I'm crazy? Do you think this is a reasonable ground to actually wanting to leave the West and going back to Africa? Well, I told you my reasons. Perhaps you agree with them, maybe not. Let me know in the comments below. I want to share this journey with you, and stay tuned. More will be coming. Thank you. Bye.